Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Robbie Gagla here, the Executive Director for Travel Government. Here with District 2 Rep Chief Boney. We're gonna kind of discuss having the virus here, kind of what it did to us, and we have some people who are gonna ask us a couple questions, and just to give an insight to what we've gone through, just to share our experience with you guys. Chief, any opening?
I'd like to thank you guys for taking time to listen to us today. It's a scary time. It is a hard time for us as a people. I know and I feel sometimes that, kind of lost my train there, but I know and feel sometimes that we're not sure where we're going and we're not sure what's happening with this stuff. There's different parts and different areas of this that it's still unknown to us as a people.
Okay.
So.
Robbie and Chief, how did the virus impact you, or how did you know you had the virus, and what were the physical things that happened to you when you got it?
The first I got it, there was, we were at the Indian Summer Classic golf tournament, and one of my kids had called stating that they tested for it. I let the people know who I was golfing with and everything, and the next day, it was clear that I could come to the office, and all I had was a little tickle in my throat that morning, like you wake up just to clear your throat. And after that, I was told to go test, and I do believe I was the first tribal and government employee to test positive. And that's how it all come about for me. And
How did it affect you physically after that, Rob? Did you get worse? Did you just have the tickle? How did it affect you physically?
okay, physically it affected me. I had an awful headache as soon as I went home after I don't know if it was the stress or the virus itself, but I did have a splitting headache. I went home, fatigue right away started in. I didn't get a temperature till the next day, and my temp was 102.3, and fatigue was the worst part. And after that, I had ended up getting diarrhea. Gatorade helped a lot, but maybe I shouldn't have said that.
That's all right.
Then it just, the worst part of it is not only the physical part, but it's also the mental part of the isolation is terrible. And if you're not prepared for it, it's even worse, because then it adds more stress and it drags you down even more. And it's hard to mentally recover from it.
Okay, thanks, Rob. Chief, how did you know you had the virus, and what were your physical things that happened to you, or how did it affect you?
I think the first time that I had really any contact with it was when Robbie got sick. I remember we were at that classic, and getting quarantined for 2 weeks was really hard. But luckily I didn't get the virus that time. The second time it was, I really don't know where. We really don't know where. You don't know who had it first, myself or my son. Most of you know me, and I got this cough from smoking. And so I've had this cough for years, so I didn't really think nothing about it when I was coughing. And I even went to a meeting that day. I was in a meeting and I got a call from my son, and he was sick. He was sick. And so I left the meeting and I got checked right away, because I knew they didn't have the rapids down there. So I went and did the rapid, and within probably 45 minutes, I knew I was positive. But like I said, I just had that sore throat and stuff like that point in time. It progressed worse as the days went on. Like I said, like Robbie was saying, it's a lot, emotionally, mentally, was really tough, because I was up here sick, and my son was down in the city sick. And I was worried more about him, and like, my thoughts were, did I give it to him? You know, because he's more, you know, does the steps than I do. You know, he's really cautious. He washes his hands constantly, he wears his mask in the car when there's me, him, and his mom and his brother. That's kind of, you know, and he's really, really conscious about this stuff, and I was kind of worried, who gave it to him, where did we get it, we didn't know.
Robbie, you mentioned it a little bit. What about the mental health part of it? You mentioned about the isolation and whatever, but, you know, and how did it impact your family?
Yeah, the mental health part of it is, it's serious, it's terrible, actually. Way it affected their family is me and Nikki, our little girl Maya has, it's called scimitar syndrome. And what it is she basically only has half of her left lung. And I was really concerned about that, about getting it to her. For me, you know, you try to make amends on everything you did wrong. You don't know what's gonna happen, if you're gonna get worse or have to be isolated in a hospital or by yourself. But and mentally, it's terrible. So if you do know somebody who has it, you know, please reach out to them. It's really nice to hear from people when you're isolated by yourself at home or with your family. It's really nice for people to reach out and get you some food or Gatorade or anything like that. And I'd ask to please be considerate of people who have it. They're going through a lot.
Okay. Chief, how did it affect you mentally, and how did it impact your family?
It was tough on my family down there, and it was really tough for me because we were separated. I have to agree with Robbie on, there was a lot of depression. I was like day 3 or something, I don't even know if I should tell you the story, but I guess I will. Someone said I shouldn't mention it, but day 3 I was in the house and I was sick. This is when I was sick. Day 3 of being sick, and laying in the house, and in the bed and shivering and coughing and stuff, and I really not feeling good at all. And I look over and I just come back from hunting when I got sick. We had Portage up there hunting, moose hunting, and I come in and I just put the guns and stuff by the door. And actually there was a point in time when I was to the worst point in the depression part of it, where you know, I thought about getting up and grabbing the gun. And I know that was wrong, but still that's where I was in my mind, because like I said, I was really kind of frustrated and kind of scared of what I did to my boy, you know, if I gave it to him. And I still don't know if it was me, or if he gave it to me, or, you know, he was sick before me, you know, I don't know, we don't know. And it was pretty bad, you know. Luckily I woke up the next day feeling a little better, and I started thinking, wow, I'm glad I didn't find the shells, you know. And now when I wake up in the mornings, even though I still have the effects of this stuff, you know, the joints, the kidneys, or what do you call this? But yeah, kidneys, and my lungs still hurt. You know what? I'm grateful. I can be grateful in the morning. I can wake up and think, you know what? I'm alive. My kid's alive. A lot of us have survived it. If you think about it, I think what's the number was 40?
Yeah, correct.
40 some people from the band have survived it. You know, we still got a long ways to go.
What are some of the lingering effects, if you have any, from the virus? Because we've heard that, you know, it just doesn't go away. There may be lingering effects. You mentioned a little bit there, Chief, but do you have any of those lingering effects, either one of you?
Yeah, some of the lingering effects that I have is, fatigue is still pretty, it's mild, but I know it's nothing that I had before. Also, I joke around about the brain, the brain fog, but I do have moments like I'll forget something and it's something I normally wouldn't forget. And then like I had to, I don't know if it had part of it to do with it, but I did have to do physical therapy on a lower part of my back too, which I never had an issue with. So that's still unruled really, but it could be something.
Okay. Chief, how about you?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff going on, like fatigue, I get tired, I take old man naps. Maybe that's just because I'm an old man, I don't know, but I take old man naps now, and my joints are really bad still. And my kidneys hurt, my lungs still hurt. One of the other things I think, I was never diabetic until I got this. Now I have to do the shots, or take the pick and check my blood, and I don't know if I can't say if that's related to it or not, but it could be. They don't know, I guess. We don't really know.
Do you, I appreciate you guys coming forth and giving your stories. Do you have any words that you wanna say to tribal members with regards to this, pandemic, like, what are your, how am I gonna say this? What do you have to say to band members about the virus? And the last question I'm gonna ask is, it's up to everybody to get the shot if they want, and if you choose or not choose to get the shot, could you tell us about that a little bit? And what your reasonings why?
Okay, brain fog. Sorry.
What are you gonna tell people?
Yeah, okay. If I had one message I'd like you guys to hear is please take this seriously. Keep your circles small if you can, because I picked it up from my nephew, my kids. It's just one of them things where you get it from your close circle. But please do your due diligence, wash your hands, wear your masks, and we'll get through this. It's going to be tough. As far as the vaccine, I have declined it. Besides my job here, I am the fire chief and I'm on EMS service also. But I'm not too sure on the vaccine, and I'll wait to see.
Okay, good.
I think if I have any message, it's to take care of each other. Watch out for your families. Check on, if you know somebody that does have it, that's out there and they're quarantined, reach out to them. This thing is a great help. You can sit there and you can talk to each other, and it's not like being there, but at least you can see somebody. You can use facial expressions to talk and to show your hurt or your happiness at just hearing their voices. And that's a big plus, I do believe, is making sure you contact people and make sure you're spending time with your loved ones as much as you can. Enjoy. I was driving up here this morning and I was thinking, damn, these roads are slippery. But then I kind of flipped it around and I started thinking, well, look how beautiful it is. The snow, the trees, the stuff glistening. I started thinking more positive. I got to change my attitude a little bit to do it. That's what I would say is just to look at the positive things in life. Grasp onto them. There's so much out there. The co-workers you have, family you have, the friends, grasp onto them and hang on and reinforce each other. As far as the vaccine goes, I would take it if I could. I'm one of the people that probably shouldn't because of the EpiPen and stuff I carry. So I shouldn't, they're saying right now, at this point in time, that maybe I shouldn't take it until they find out more about it, what's going on down the road. So as soon as they find out, as soon as they come up with a solution or an answer, then maybe I will.
Okay.
But it's one of them things where I would have taken it if I could have. I
Okay.
think it's a good thing for us.
Well, I wanna say thank you, Chief McWitch, to you both for, giving us your side, your perspective, as Native people, not as tribal leader or executive director, but just how it's affected, you personally, and, we really appreciate you willing to share with us that, and, Chief McWitch and you guys both stay safe.
Good.
Good.